and that's when he started to give the boat some speed. Miss Hay, you think water soft? Water come like concrete. She looked out, she saw the boat come in. She got so afraid she jumped through the window. She didn't even take time to go through the door, you know. She jumped through the window and ran off, you know. No man, this boat came in, boom, stop, and that was it. Coming down and then land on the water and go so, you know, it was like interesting. Business here, idea. Open up back that airstrip.
Hey my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Mel and we are here with mommy. So no say it's another story time with mommy, yeah? So as you can see already, I'm in beach attire, so beach and river vlog is coming soon to you guys, so stay tuned for that. Anyways mommy, go ahead, tell your part.
Disclaimer: the stories that I'm going to tell in this series are my experience, my truth, and my point of view over the past 38 years that I have been in Jamaica. And it's in no way intended to slander any person, the culture of Jamaica, or the island as a whole. Hi Miss Lovelies. Okay, today I decided to gather together some little stories, like anecdotes or smaller things that of course were not a huge impact in the marina, but basically I mean our everyday happenings and special moments. So I would like to start with one nature thing that happened one night in the marina. It was like about 9 o'clock and it was full moon, and I was sitting upstairs in our restaurant part at the time and talking to some people, and it had been raining not too long before, but the rain had ceased. And when I suddenly looked over to my right side in the sky and saw this amazing, beautiful rainbow. Can you imagine now, in the middle of the night, everything apart from the full moon of course, it was dark, the sky was black, and then you have this rainbow there in clear colors. I was like so amazed. I was like sitting there with my mouth open, and I called everybody, said, look over there, look over there, look over there. And everybody was really in awe. It was so beautiful. So I guess full moon, enough light, rain before, and it was after the rain was cloudless where the rainbow was. So can you imagine this black background and then this beautiful rainbow?
But it was bright enough for you to see the
very
rainbow
bright.
Like that?
Yeah, you could see all the colors, you could see
or
everything.
probably you see it better in front of a dark background,
maybe
in the day it's like, you know, like a washout.
Exactly. So I mean it was so amazing, and I tell you the truth, I felt truly blessed at that moment to see something like that and grateful. So that was one of our many. I mean, we had a lot of beautiful sunsets there too, and sunrises, and all kind of weather happenings in the place, because when you live practically on the sea, not far in, but on the sea, and you have nothing too much around you at that point in time, you see a lot of amazing things. And now after that, I want to come to the different kind of boats or ships we got to see over our time in there. And when I was there pretty much in the beginning, this guy came in with this cigarette boat. You know, cigarette boats are these pretty long, small, very fast boats, which got a very bad reputation because actually they were used partly to smuggle drugs, because they were so fast they could outrun any Coast Guard boat.
Really?
Really. I mean, and I can tell you, it is like, I got a ride on one of them, because it was, this boat was not for that purpose. It was like just somebody who had money and liked fast boats, and I mean, this thing was amazing. He just came in one day on it, and we had a few conversations and stuff, and said, come, everybody want to come, let's take a test ride. So it was basically, I don't even know who came with us. We weren't many people, like 3-4 people on that boat. And then he went out of the harbor and out to open sea, and that's when he started to give the boat some speed. Miss Hay, you think water soft? Water come like concrete, because this thing was so fast. It was a boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom. And you understand, and there is no like shocks or nothing, you know, to keep the shocks from you. And I was like holding on for dear life, and I thought my whole body would break apart, because the way we thump on the water. And every minute, you know, not every minute, every 10 seconds, you know, because the boat go up and down and up and down, and then each time it was like, boom, you land on concrete. And I was like, no, sir, I can't take this. And I mean, I'm not very easily afraid, and I love boats, but this boat ride, boy, was I glad when that was over. It was like, thank God I survived this. So, I mean, whoever is doing any smuggling on these boats, you know, I mean, I have to give you some respect, because if you have to outrun and Coast Guard ships are fast, you know, Coast Guard are real fast. If you have to outrun that with that speed on that water and let it be some more higher waves, whoa. I mean,
well, I guess better that than going to jail, right?
Definitely, but I would never ever want to do that in my life. So that was that part of the story. Talking about Coast Guard, the Jamaican Coast Guard love to come to our place, because most of the time, the biggest one, I think was P7 at the time, they used to come to Portland or to Port Antonio on the weekends mostly, because, you know, Coast Guard boats are around the island constantly to take care and look out and whatever. And so they used to come on, mostly would come in on a Friday late afternoon and dock at our place, and if we had space, and just spend the weekend in Port Antonio, go in and out and check out and whatever. Now this one time, we see the P7 come in and say, oh, they're back, and everybody was standing on the marina deck and watching them come in, and we watched them coming in at a pretty high speed. And it's like, they came closer and closer, and the speed did not get slower, and we were standing there and saying, what the hell is going on here? And it still came closer and did not slow down. And I was like, and that was just a little bit after we renovated the marina, right? And I was, he's going to run into my dock here, he's going to mash up everything. What is wrong with this guy? are with these people? Do they have a problem with the ship? They can't stop it, or what's going? I mean, everybody got like, what? My secretary, she was in the office at the time. She looked out. She saw the boat come in. She got so afraid she jumped through the window. She didn't even take time to go through the door, you know. She jumped through the window and ran off, you know. Other people started to run off too. I was standing there like, I was like paralyzed.
You were shocked.
I was so shocked, I was paralyzed. And this boat still approached and came right in front, like where our dock started. And suddenly it go, boom. And it parked like a car. And anybody who knows anything about boat, you know, you're underwater, you do not have no brake in the sense like in a car, you know. You cannot just go on a brake and will stop.
Yeah.
A boat has some motion still when it stops. Even if you stop the engine completely, it still have the motion. I mean, for this guy to come in from like 20 knots to 0 and literally park the boat beside my dock and just perfectly right. We were all like, whoa, how did you do that? I have never seen that before, because I mean, we saw a lot of boats coming in and everybody had to maneuver and go backwards first and forwards again and slow down and this and that and then catch the rope. And no man, this boat came in, boom, stop, and that was it. And everybody over, we all start to applaud in the end, you know. We were so afraid before, and suddenly we said like, whoa, and we survived, yes, you know. And then the captain came off, and it was a very funny guy anyhow. He came off and said, and I told him, are you crazy? You frightened us to death. And he said, sure man, that's just normal. And then he went to the bar and, can I get 2 red stripe please? So that was that story. Then we have a hotel / studio in Port Antonio called G-Jam, and the owner had a motor yacht, and for a while it was docked at our marina. And to be honest, I mean, he always has a lot of musicians up there, or famous people, actors. I mean, Beyonce has been there.
Jay-Z, Drake, Rihanna, other
Tom Cruise, like actors, and so through that we got to see some of them too, because when they decided to take a ride out, then everybody would come and pass through the marina, and one day Lennox Lewis came in with them, or we saw Yoko Ono was there. At one point in time, they did not come to the marina, they were in the other marina at that time. Shakira was there. At that time she was not famous yet. And I mean, we met quite a few of these guys passing by the marina, and all of them were very friendly and nice, but for us it was good too. And one day the then Prime Minister Patterson came by too. I mean, the reason why he came by, there was something over on Navy Island, and they had some reception over there, and for security reasons they did not want to take the regular ferry, because they said if something or somebody might want to do something to the Prime Minister, it would be right then and there. So they decided to send a boat over to our place and let him go over from here.
So is it that our marina and the other marina, those were the only 2 spots you could?
No, the other marina, no, the ferry from Navy Island was between the 2 marinas. Was actually very close to our marina, but that part doesn't exist anymore.
So there were basically 3 spots where you could
go over
from.
Yeah, but they chose our marina for that. So I was like, and they didn't even tell us anything, you know. I just was like, so astonished when suddenly Mr. Prime Minister Patterson walked into my place and came to me and said, "Hi, nice to meet you, and I am Patterson." I said, "I know who you are." You know? And then in his company was the then Jamaican beauty queen too. And I don't know what their purpose was on the island, but anyhow, some security and police, and suddenly my marina was full with people, and I had no idea what. Which, of course, they didn't order or stay and spend any time there. They just passed by. But still, so I got to shake their hands with the Prime Minister at least. So they took him over, and after whenever what time came back over there because all their cars were parked in the parking lot. So it was kind of interesting. Over the years we met a lot of people there. I mean, the series, there is a series in Germany called was it Love Boat or something, and it's a series that had Traumschiff. The Dreamboat, Traumschiff, is a very, very well-known series in Germany, and they decided to do a sequence from over in Jamaica. So we got the whole film crew sitting in our place and having dinner and lunch, and they told us some stories and stuff. So it's like over time quite a few people came in, and I met quite a few people that were quite famous. So that was one of the interesting sides in the marina as well. We had not really docked at our place, but right where we are in front of it, the original Bounty came in. You know, the Bounty pirate ship from Treasure Island, and it was like, it was for a movie, of course. You know, they were kind of transiting, and they were there for a few days. So if you saw, I mean, if you ever watched those older movies like Treasure Island with pirates and stuff, the Bounty was that ship that you would see in the movies. So it was right in our front yard, if you want as well, you know. Or another time, they were going, I think, to Grand Cayman and stopped by, was a fleet of 3 ships that almost look like the Viking ships, you know. I mean, really old ship, like made looking old as well. And they were going to Grand Cayman because apparently in Grand Cayman they had this pirate shows and would use the ships for that. And again, it was like just a transit thing, but we were, I mean, it's like very interesting to see these ships that you normally would never see anywhere apart from where they are going to. But I never been to Grand Cayman, you know, never, although it's pretty close. That's an interesting part too. When you're in Jamaica, you do not really travel to other islands so much because it's hard. Most of the time you have to fly to Miami first and then back to the island you want to go. The only place I went to was Cuba on a ship, because Santiago de Cuba is not far from Port Antonio. It's only 80 miles. And so I got to make that trip.
How long did that trip take?
Well, it depends how you go. And that's where we are coming to now too, because if you sail, it depends on the wind and stuff, so it will take you at least 1 day, if not longer, because when I went, we didn't have wind. And the engine of the sail ship that I went with was not really functioning, so that the captain didn't want to start the engine at all. So we were sitting there in the middle between Jamaica and Cuba, no wind, no nothing, just like, so we are ever going to move again, you know, because when it was like a good half day that we didn't have even a breeze. I mean, we were tempted to stand down there and blow in the sails, you know. That would have been more breeze than what we got naturally. But finally the breeze picked back up, and all in all it took us then 1.5 days to Santiago. Okay. And Santiago is nice. I love it. I would love to go back again there. But what happened in the marina as well, at one point in time, we got an offer from a person in Kingston. He came by and said, oh, you know, we have this big ship. It's called Caribbean Queen. And we would like to start a journey once a week from your marina to Santiago de Cuba. And they was interested, of course, because first of all, they would be in my place and pay dockage and stuff,
Yeah.
so it would give me a bit of regular money that I could count on. So finally, we agreed, we made a contract, and the Caribbean Queen came in. It was like some big ship, you know. It was like a small cruise ship, basically. It could hold about, I think it was like about 200 people. Not with cabins though, you know. What they had, it was like an airplane on the water.
So they had seats.
They had seats. You would go on and you had this big area with rows of seats.
Oh.
And they had a galley, like a little kitchen. People could get snacks and drinks and a little food, and no TV or anything. But basically, and then they had underneath, they had a cargo area where they could put in stuff. And that ship would leave on a Thursday evening, like about 8-9 o'clock at night. So we would have all these people come in with their little luggage. It was really like, I felt like in an airport, you know, with the luggage, and enter the ship and got really like processed, like with tickets and everything, you know. So it was like Huntress Marina airport. So they would go on, and then this ship would take about 8 hours. They would leave about midnight, 11 o'clock midnight, and it would take about 8 hours from my marina to the place in Santiago.
So they started boarding at 8.
They started boarding at 8-9, so they everybody could prepare, and people, it was good for us too, because while waiting on, they would come back now and have a drink and have some food. So basically it was a very nice deal for us. I was amazed to find out the price for this trip, because the ship would leave the Thursday night, then Friday morning they would reach. People would get into a hotel, checked in. They would have one of the Cuban shows, you know, the very colorful, like almost carnival shows. They would have a sightseeing tour through Santiago and environments. The sun, that would be Saturday. I think Friday evening they would have the show, or Saturday evening, I'm not sure. But they were entertained throughout the time in Santiago and could do their own stuff if they wanted to. And on Sunday morning, they would leave over there and come back to our marina about by midday, early afternoon. So basically, it was a very, very nice weekend trip.
Yeah.
And guess what? It only cost $175 US. That was like really cheap. And
For
really,
having
for
a hotel
everything,
and
you had your
everything as well,
hotel, you
yeah.
had your food, you had your show, you had your sightseeing, and had your time there to do whatever you wanted, you know. And I thought that was an extremely good deal.
Yeah.
And what they did as well, they brought like things like even drinking water, toilet tissue, sometimes sugar, flour. They loaded on the boat and brought it over to Cuba, because at that time, or even now, those things were really hard to get over there, you know. So basically, they brought that there, and a lot of times they brought back bicycles. And very, very, very nice bicycles, you know. And when they unloaded them the first time, I said, wow, what is this? That's nice. How much for them? And they were extremely cheap. They got them from over there. I think they paid like 20 US for one bicycle. Brand new. Brand new.
And how much were they selling it for?
I don't want to know, but whole heap of money. Whole heap of money. But anyhow, that was a very interesting thing to have. The one downside of it, which I got very, very upset about is I told you they would take water, because Jamaica has the cleanest drinking water in the entire Caribbean. Basically, all cruise ships, all sailors, if they can, whatever, take up water in Jamaica, because our water is not contaminated. You can drink our pipe water right from the pipe, you know, not a problem. So they would bring over our water to Cuba and practically sell it there, you know. But I mean, their water tanks were huge, so they filled up water. They had their own water meter, you know. I was not stupid, you know. They had their own water meter. But what happened, when they filled up the tanks, they wouldn't pay me for the water. My water bill would be enormous. I was sky high. And I went to them and said, okay, look here, I think the first 2 times they paid, it came into the easily $300-400 US, and if not more, because they would go every week, and every week fill their water tanks, you know. It was astronomical. And then at one point in time, they didn't pay me anymore. And so basically what they paid for dockage or whatever else, I put into the water bill. You know, and I mean, I practically, I was on the verge to throw them out and tell them to get the hell out of my marina, when their engine started to give trouble and they go to Kingston, and this whole thing stopped anyhow. But up to this day, they owe me for water, you know.
The amount of people that owe mommy things.
What?
If mommy wouldn't get back all of them, you know, rich mommy.
Hey, then I wouldn't have any financial problems. Trust me, I would be good.
Mommy would be so rich, man.
Yeah, I would. Another interesting thing was this person. He started a service between like Negril, going down the coast, like stop at the big places in Ochi and so on, come to Port Antonio with a water plane. So yeah, I mean, he used to come in regular and park right at our place, and we had always to tie the plane certain ways because it had a tendency to turn, and then the wing would come in, you know, and kind of scrape on my marina and stuff. So we had to find a way how to tie it properly that it would just stand still. But I got a free flight from him one day, just around Port Antonio area. One day he just said, come Sabina, let's go. Fly with me, I'll show you around a bit. And I was like, yes. Although I don't like small planes, you know. So I went in that plane. It was not, he was there as a pilot, and it could carry maybe 3 more people. So it was not a big thing. But it was him and me alone, and we just went out, and he'd take his speed on the water, you know, and then you go up. And I really enjoyed that. We went a little bit inland, and that's the first time, because, you know, at that time you didn't have no drones or anything, and people wouldn't take really aerials of places. You know, it was beautiful. Because we just went in a bit, and we passed the Rio Grande Valley, and behind it the Blue Mountains start, the John Crow Mountains start, and everything, and not a soul lives there, Melody, at that time at least. Not a soul.
I mean, now people live
it
there.
was like bushy. You know?
bushy.
You had pure nature, pure trees, and then hill and gully up and down, and little rivers in between, and I mean, I was like so amazed about the beauty of this island again, you know, because I know it's beautiful. That is partly why I'm here, but to see it from another perspective now, and see it even very intensely, because he was flying not that high, he was flying pretty low. So I mean, you could practically count the trees down there, you know, that low. So that was an experience I really cherish up to this day. And then when we came back, the landing too, you know, I mean, coming down and then land on the water and go so, You know, it was like interesting. I enjoyed it. It was nice. I like water skiing in a water plane, you know. So that was wonderful experience as well. And then we practically you drive it back to like a ship, you know, and with a propeller though. And he was very skilled, and I'm very sorry that his business didn't really work out. There weren't enough people to really take that advantage, because I used to take, we had a smaller airplane too leaving here from St. Margaret's Bay going to Montego Bay, flying right along the coast, and those smaller planes do not fly very high, none of them. And I had that experience to fly with that. And it is wonderful. It's really, really beautiful. You know, you go really along the entire north coast from Porty to Montego Bay and see everything. So that was a very, very enjoyable experience. And they stopped it years ago because the airfield here got potholes and wasn't maintained properly, and they stopped it. And in my eyes, that's a complete waste, because people nowadays would take that flying, literally flying, you know.
Because you would reach there so much faster.
Oh yeah?
Because now it
45 minutes, put me out there.
Now it takes 4 hours.
4 hours, and instead you fly for not even 45 minutes. I think it was even only half an hour, and you reach.
That would be good, man.
Man, I'm telling you, and those planes were good because you could put in luggage. You had people in there, and it must have been worthwhile. And nowadays, I swear people would take that.
Because a lot of people, because the two airports that we have are definitely one is in Kingston, and one is in Montego Bay. And a lot of the international flights are from Montego Bay, like the further countries like Europe and stuff. So every time we fly to Germany, we have to go to Montego Bay. So just imagine our journey there, 4 hours, then go on a plane for another 10 hours. And it's just so exhausting, man. So if we could cut that down, the driving part, to 45 minutes, that would be heaven.
Plus the view.
Plus the view.
I mean, that is the bonus.
That's just a whole experience.
You look down and you see nothing but real beauty, you know. So that would be, I can only commend that anybody who want to do some business here, please open up back that airstrip and make people, even the island, get connected. Even flights to Kingston, you know, because there's a small airport in Kingston. Even that, instead of driving through the junction like we did the other day, just hop over. You know, it's only 15 minutes.
Yeah, I can imagine, but you know,
with
the
a
Kingston
helicopter,
one is not that bad. They definitely should do the Montego Bay.
Yeah,
one,
definitely.
That's a win-win situation.
Yeah. Another thing now, no more ships right now. What happened one time, as you know, we lived on a houseboat at the time, and one day I was on the houseboat. It was like in the middle of the day. I was on the houseboat with my family sitting in the living room when I suddenly hear bottles break. And it came from the direction of my bar. So when I looked over, I saw the whole dock, including bar, office, everything go sway. And in the process, all the bottles dropped off my shelves in the bar. So I didn't feel anything on the house, but I said, what the heck is going on? I went out, and it had been an earthquake. So seeing that our boat was underwater, I just went with it, and we didn't feel a thing. And then, I mean, this earthquake, I think it was like a 3 or 3.5 on the Richter scale, which is pretty much already, and cost me a lot of money, you know, because all my bottles fell off the shelf and poof, mash up. So,
and back then you mainly had glass bottles anyways for everything.
Of course. No, and up to today, I mean, rum bottle, vodka. I mean, we had a fully stacked
Oh, so it was
bar
the,
shelf.
the
you
liquor.
know?
It was the
It
liquor.
was all the liquor them fall down. It's not the sodas. They were in the fridge and stuff, you know. But no. Everything that is... So can you imagine what I had to re-buy there? Damn earthquake, you know. But it's like Jamaica gets quite a few earthquakes anyhow, you know. Sometimes you had one the other day here, right?
Yeah.
When you said... Actually,
Woke
we
me
were
up
on
out
the
of
road
my sleep.
driving at that time. We didn't feel a thing, but she called, "Did you feel the earthquake?"
Yeah, it woke me up out of my sleep. The whole bed did a shake. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
You just feel like somebody literally stand up for your bed and a shake your bed.
And then we get interesting sailors coming in. As I mentioned before, we had a few little stories, but I just remember some more. For example, there was this smaller sailboat came in with some people from Florida. And one of the guys actually was earning his money. I think it was even in Disney World or one of those places, or some bigger, well-known park. Excuse me if I don't remember. It's like many years ago. But what he used to do there is barefoot water skiing.
Okay.
He didn't have any skis. He would do it just on his feet. And he was telling us and telling us, and I said, wow, we need to get a boat. And because he said the boat that would have to tow him needed to be pretty fast. Because, of course, it needs
So
more
like
speed.
one of those cigarette boats.
Yeah, that would have been perfect. But we found a little faster one, and he agreed that he would try and show us what he would do. And basically, so we got our own free barefoot water skiing show in the marina because it really worked. We found a fast enough a boat for him to get towed. And I mean, it was amazing. This guy was standing on top of the dock and the boat holding the rope, and the boat would start like, and he would jump practically in the water, go down for a little moment, and then stand on his bare feet and go over the water behind the boat and do all kind of tricks, you know, like little acrobatic something.
One leg.
But I mean, come on, I mean, standing on water skis is not that easy as it is, and even then doing acrobatics. And he now barefoot.
But I feel like you probably could control barefoot more than this.
For the acrobatics maybe, but you have only such a small space to be
I know,
underwater. But can you imagine?
If it's longer and wider, there's more disruption as well. So that's why I feel like
not
it would.
really.
Yes, because if you have on a ski, mommy, most skis are really long. You can't control the front of it like that.
No, it's not to
in
do
waves and
no,
stuff.
because the front is mostly up.
I know, but
When
the
you're on
waves
the
are
ski,
still
the front-
licking.
I used to do water skiing, you know, when I was young. I did it in Europe on a lake, though, never on the sea, but on a lake. It's nice.
but with waves, mommy, isn't
It
that?
has waves too, a lake. I mean, if it's windy, you have some waves,
Yeah.
not like the sea, but
Okay.
I mean, still. So I'm proud to say I did water skiing too. But I mean, we were of course all very much amazed how he did, and he was like happy to do it because he took a break for a while, and he said, "Oh yeah, this feels nice. I think I'm going back to Florida." And then another boat left to go. I think they were going that way. I don't know if it was Dumrep or one of those places. And there is a time of the year. We have two different times of the year, where one time the wind goes that way and another time it comes from that way. So in order to reach the Dumrep or places further, every ship have to cruise like this, go zigzag, because they can't go straight against the wind. They have to kind of cut it out.
Yeah.
And it was that time of the year, plus it was a bit stormy. So these guys left out, and we said our farewells and wish them luck and stuff, because we said, hey, be careful, you know, because it's not really your time of the year to go that way, which most sailors really try to avoid. Like we would have the time when it blew, they would come in from that side and go further down direction Caymans or South America or whatever. And then the other time of the year they would leave and go that side and then reach. So these guys were really courageous to try it at that point in time. So they left, and after 2 days we see one sailboat coming in, which no mast on the sailboat. I mean, did you ever see a sailboat without a mast? It looks sad, you know. It really, really looks sad.
No, what is the mast?
The mast is the thing in the middle going up to hold the sail.
Oh.
Most of them have one middle mast. The smaller ones only have the one middle mast, and bigger ones have two. They have the front and one middle. This was a smaller boat, so the middle mast was gone. So they came in and practically in tears and said they had been out there, and suddenly one big gust of wind took the sail and really blew it, and it made the mast crack and come down. So they had the mast lying on deck. Still they actually what they did, they gave it to us, the piece. Signed it with date and everything, and I had it as a memory.
Oh yeah, I think you mentioned it in a story time already.
Yeah, so I had that put up there, and these poor people had to get a brand new mast, and that is not a cheap thing to get, because of course you must have a really firm wood to withstand all the pressure and the winds and stuff. So that was another story with people with the mischief and what's happening to them. And then one more story, and then we finish. Every year a bigger sailboat would come in, about 100 feet long, 120 feet long, and this boat always had students as crew. There was of course the captain and a mate, but basically all the rest of the crew or the passengers would be students, marine biology and stuff, anything going on with the sea study. And they would stop by like for 2-3 days or even 4 days, and what they always did is take samples of the water, the harbor water, and kind of put it in they had a little lab on board and stuff, and kind of looked at it. Well, our harbor water wasn't all that nice at the time, but practically every year these people would come too, or these other people that had their own ship as a family. Like, it was like a couple with 2 children, and what they did, they would come to us to kind of relax, because their main purpose was going to Haiti and bring them some school stuff for the children, like books and pencils and whatever else, because Haiti, as we all know, has been very poor for the longest time, and has had a lot of problems with floods, earthquake, hurricanes, you name it. And what they told us is when they went there, of course the people knew they would be coming by that time to bring them things, so they wouldn't really do nothing. But if you as a normal sailor would go direction Haiti, you better had a gun on board, which many sailors have guns on board, because if people saw you coming closer, they would come out with their little boats and dinghies and whatever and rob you. They would climb on board and rob you. And then for them bringing the stuff, and the people knew they wouldn't touch them. They had their reputation already. But being there just to see the poverty and the problems these people had, and it was straining for them. It was very hard on them. So basically what they did is they did what they did and came over to Jamaica then, which is not far, because you see Cuba, Windward Passage, Haiti. For them it was like taking a break, having holidays, you know, and recharge their batteries. So those are a few of the people and the events that we had in the marina over the years. There are some more stories to come, but today we finish with this story. So we see you back next time.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching as usual. And I think, was it the next story time? That's going to be a not so good one. Is it the next story time?
Yeah, could be next story time, yeah.
There's, I think, well, one more bad situation that's going to happen, and
2 more.
2 more?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Well, I'm talking about...
Yeah.
So, stay tuned for that, guys. That will be coming maybe next week or the week after, but soon.
Hey, we are really mother and daughter.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video, which will be tomorrow, because remember, we're still in Vlogmas, guys. So thank you guys so much.
Tomorrow is story time. Today is Wednesday, you know.
Mommy, when they're watching the video, right? When they get to see the video, it's going to already be Thursday. So they're going to see me
Friday.
Yeah. So tomorrow in the video. Alright guys. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And you know, just become part of our lovelies. And yeah. See you tomorrow. Bye.